Hey guys, it's Cameron here with Emerson House Buyers. Every week I bring you tools, tactics, strategies, lessons I've learned, things that have helped me build up a sizable rental portfolio in about 2 years. So this week I want to talk to you guys about a checklist I put together for selecting a rental property. So if you guys know me, I do rentals. I don't like flips. I do some owner financing, but I'm really enjoy rentals and that side of the business where you provide long-term value, you invest a sum of money, and you get these residual benefits on taxes, appreciation, and cash flow. So I put together a small list here, and I wanted to walk you through this. I think you guys will find this valuable if you're looking for your first deal or your next deal, especially in rentals. I've got a sizable rental portfolio in my mind, and I feel like I can add some value, or at least give you from my experience what has helped me. So I wrote this list down. First thing I look for is if somebody sends me a deal or a seller calls me, is this an area I'm familiar with? Do I know people in the area? Do I go there? Do I have other properties in the area? Is it the ghetto? Or do people go there? Am I kind of familiar with it? Or is it in a bad part of town? So that's rule number one for me. Again, this might be different. It's people who buy houses all over the country, never see anything, don't care. This might be not for you. But if you're doing your first, say, 1 to 5 deals, I think this might be helpful. So second thing I look for, are the rents reasonable? So when I do a comparative market analysis, is my rent for that property, is it reasonable? Are these rents too high to support? If you're looking for blue collar folks or white collar folks, what's the average income in that area? If you're looking in an area where people make $50,000 and you want to charge $2,000 a month in rent, I highly doubt, one, anybody's going to be able to qualify, or two, you're going to have a good pool of tenants. So make sure the rents make sense. The market will usually dictate the rents, but sometimes you get in these areas where rents get pushed up, and then you'll find yourself coming back down. So be cognizant of that. The other thing I look for is cash flow. And I've mentioned this. You guys can look back at some of my other videos. I take property management in consideration. I take CapEx. I have my mortgage, taxes, insurance, and I put all that together. And am I going to make a good return on my investment and a solid cash flow? My numbers have varied over time. When I first started out, I wanted to get a solid foundation of great properties. A few good properties, and no matter what, I had good cash flow. I could weather the storm, per se, if the worst case scenario happened. Bear with me 1 second. So that's how I started out. But as time went on, my numbers have changed. So I can't really tell you what your numbers are. I look for at least a few $100s a month in cash flow after considering all those other factors: property management, all your PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and property management. Did I say that? Property management, taxes, insurance, principal and interest, and your capital expenditures to keep the house up. The next thing I look for, so this is often neglected. Trust me, I've seen fantastic deals I've had to pass on. Family members who live in Florida or elsewhere in the country say, man, there's a great deal here, or somewhere in northern Ohio that I don't really have access to, that'll say, hey, I'll sell you this house, $50,000. It's worth 120. It needs 10,000 bucks. I just need out of it. I will not do that deal. And maybe you can call me stupid. I don't know. But the reason I won't do it is because I don't have people there. I don't have a team built up there. Who am I going to use for my title company? Who is going to be my leasing agent? Who is going to be my realtor? Who's going to be my handyman? Who's going to look over the property and say, hey, the yard's getting kind of messy, etc. These people are doing some shady stuff. They're loud. You're getting noise complaints. You don't want the sheriff to be the one to call you and tell you that. So if I don't have a team built up in that area, then I don't do it. I've seen some fantastic deals in Houston that are just too far away from my people. Now, I'm not opposed to looking into areas when expanding my team to be able to open myself up to new areas. But that's why I predominantly invest, or only invest, in Athens, Ohio, and Houston, Texas, because I was born and raised in Athens. I have a lot of friends and family around. I know the area very well. And Houston, worked there for 5 years, familiar with the area. My handyman goes around the majority of the town. I build up my team there to people that I trust and I know. I just say, take care of it. I don't ask them for bills until the end. I don't ask them to bid me the job. Just when we have a relationship and we build up a solid team, we just cookie cutter and we just go and go and go. So those are the 4 things, guys. Those are the big things I look for. Is it an area I'm familiar with? Are the rents reasonable? Is it a good cash flow? How accessible is my team, handyman, property management, realtor? How accessible is it to those folks? Am I going to have to build up a new team? I don't want to have to build up a new team to buy one deal. That doesn't really make much sense to me. Now, if I'm looking to move into an area and I want to build up a team, totally different. But before you do that, make sure you do have a team. People often neglect the fact that they have to, once they buy a house, they have to get somebody in there. They have to get somebody in there to rehab it. They have to get a tenant in there. That takes time. And if you don't have a great team, then you could really severely be hurting yourself. Taxes build up every day. Insurance builds up every day. Interest on your loan builds up every day, especially if you're doing hard money. So when you have this time period and you're waiting longer and longer, a few weeks here, a few weeks there, rehab goes on 2 or 3 months, then you're looking out thousands of dollars, maybe in interest, potentially more than that. Utility bills, I mean, there is a lot to consider. So that's some boots on the ground. To me, I wouldn't do it anywhere that I didn't have boots on the ground. So again, those are my kind of checklist when I go to scan a property. Does it meet those criteria? If it does, then I'll take a deeper look into it and possibly put a contract on it. But that's definitely the first few filters it goes through. I hope this was helpful, guys. If it was, let me know. If it wasn't, let me know. I'm here to serve you guys and help out the best I can. So thanks for joining in. I'll see you guys next week.